This episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is brought to you by Jedley's totally interactive Magic Circus. Imagine a show where magic, illusions, comedy, music, and inspiration all come together as one. Imagine a show that has helped over 1 million young people and adults to change the way they approach life. A show that has shown people that being kind and respectful is fun. That show is Jedley's totally interactive Magic Circus, a transformative show that inspires young people to make healthy choices, be kind, and respectful. To find out more, please visit www.jedley.com or call 617-833-7063 today. Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are so delighted that you are joining us today. Thank you so very much for supporting this iTunes #1 Kids and Family podcast. We have 2 wonderful guests, actually 3 wonderful guests for you today. We'll begin by speaking with Laura Hockensmith over in Amsterdam, talking about Kiba's Fun in the Sky. And we'll then be joined by Anita Kelly Gaunt and her wonderful, cute, adorable son, Eston, talking about her book, The Fair Factor. Joining us on the line right now from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. She is the author of a great new picture book called Kiba's Fun in the Sky. Please welcome to the show, Laura Hockensmith. Laura, how are you?
Good. Hi, Jed. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Great to have you on the show. And from the Netherlands, how's the weather in the Netherlands these days?
Right now, we're experiencing a heat wave, so it's been really hot for the past week.
Yeah. Now, Laura is this is really cool. You're traveling Europe in a camper van.
Yes, we've been on the road since last September, and we've traveled through Spain and through Norway. And we basically bring our home with us to everywhere we travel.
And one of the advantages you told me of traveling in the camper van is you obviously wherever you end up at the end of the day, your home is with you, and you don't need to search for a hotel that is pet friendly, or should we say Kiba friendly, because Kiba is traveling with you.
Right. Kiba's our fluffy little tiny dog with pointy ears, and she was one of the reasons that we chose to travel by camper van. You never have to worry if a hotel is dog friendly, and I think she's been really enjoying it. Kids that we see in the streets everywhere are really drawn to her.
Very, very cool. Now, what kind of dog is Kiba?
She's a mix. She's part Pomeranian, so the pointy ears are Pomeranian, and part Maltese. So she has wild hair, and so, she doesn't really know what she is, but she's cute.
Well, there you go. She's cute. And those mixed breed dogs always seem to be the ones with the most, the most pleasant personality I've found.
Right. She is. I mean, she really is what initially inspired me to actually write children's books. Because every morning she gets up and she's wagging her tail, and she has this look on her face that almost says to me, today is going to be the best day ever. And I really think, that enthusiasm and playfulness is just really contagious. And so I thought, well, she has such a good outlook on life. How does she see life? How would she perceive these adventures that we're having? And so that's where our brand Kiba Tales came from.
Yeah, and tell us about the story of Kiba's Fun in the Sky.
So Kiba's Fun in the Sky is our first book. It's a children's picture book that follows Kiba on her first airplane ride. To her owner's surprise and shock, she's too tall to ride with them near their feet, so she has to ride with baggage. Ooh. And during the ride, she escapes, and she creates lots of mischief for the passengers and crew, and a lot of fun for her and her dog friends.
Now, I have to ask, is this based on a true story?
It is. I actually took a trip with Kiba by plane. And obviously the book is fiction for children, but during the actual plane ride that I took with her, there was so much strict security at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the trip, I walked into the baggage terminal, almost empty baggage terminal, and there was Kiba, just alone in her crate, no one around. And you wonder how she really fared during the journey. Mm-hmm. But she came out wagging her tail, and she seemed to probably have the most fun in her life on that trip. So I started to think about that journey and how she experienced it, and I had to write something from her perspective.
You know, that's a really, it's a fun story, and it's fun to imagine, you know, the adventures that Kiba had in the belly of the plane.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking how much fun it would be for families to sit down and talk about this and talk about Kiba and the plane and the story. But I also think it'd be really a fun exercise, after reading Kiba, to kind of sit down with our kids and say, okay, well, Laura imagined her dog in the belly of the plane, and she imagined what happened, and this story came out. What if we did that exercise and we kind of imagined something together as a family and looked at something, maybe through the perspective of our dog or our cat or our goldfish?
Yeah, I mean, I think kids are naturally curious and they want to explore. And I see those same qualities in Kiba. So our books are all about adventure and travel and encouraging that curiosity. And so in each book, Kiba encounters a difficult situation. And so it's something that you can talk about as a family. But in each book, Kiba approaches those situations with just a lot of curiosity and fun and playfulness. Mm-hmm. And then, she always adds her signature portion of mischief also.
Well, having your own signature portion of mischief is very important.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I love that this is envisioned as a series, and you mentioned to me earlier that you're writing the books, and your significant other is the illustrator.
Yeah, we illustrate them together. So we take turns on, he'll draw on the computer for a day and I'll draw the next day. And, we critique and compliment each other's work, and really together we can also make better illustrations.
Now, I'm curious as to what before the interview started, Laura told me that she comes from a part of Pennsylvania that I'm very familiar with, a really beautiful part of the world. What was it that inspired you to leave the beauty of Western Pennsylvania and travel throughout Europe?
Well, from a young age, I had always wanted to travel. And when I was young and in elementary school, it was always France. And, as I grew up, my dreams of where I wanted to travel just increased and got larger. So I did some traveling, and through my travels, I actually met my boyfriend. And so about 5 years ago, I moved to the Netherlands. And we've been living in the Netherlands from then on, and now we're just taking some time off, and we're traveling in our camper van and focusing on Kiba tales and writing the books and illustrating the books.
That is wonderful. Now, I'm looking on your website, and it's a really, really cute website, and Kiba is absolutely adorable. Yeah,
she always has these really great expressions on her face.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what is you mentioned that this is Kiba's Tales is going to be a series. What is the next book in the series?
The next book is a Christmas book. Mm-hmm. We're releasing Kiba Saves Christmas this fall. And in this second book, Santa hurts his back while visiting Kiba's house, and he can't continue delivering gifts. And so Kiba pitches in and delivers the gifts around the world, but makes some last-minute changes to Santa's gifts. So people might be shocked in the morning to get maybe a little bit more dog-friendly gifts.
I love a dog that thinks for himself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. And I also noticed there are a lot of different resources you have available on your website.
Right. So one of the first things as a parent, if you're reading Kiba Tales to your children, is that you can look on our website and have some free downloads of activity sheets. Mm-hmm. We have some coloring pages and we have a maze so far, and we're going to keep adding to them. Also, because we travel for real as well, we post Instagram and Facebook stories and pictures. So Kiba's face is all over Instagram with cute travel shots. We were just in Norway, so we just posted a picture of her in Bergen, and each photo has a short poem coming along with it from Kiba's perspective as well.
Cool. Now, how long are you planning on this extended tour of Europe?
Originally, it was supposed to be a year, but a year is coming up next month.
Uh-huh.
So we're thinking of at least extending it through December, and then we'll see how it goes, how we like it and how Kiba likes it. And also, the travel also inspires creativity and more stories, and so I could keep writing books forever.
There you go. And you're in Europe, and I don't know how the roads are, but you probably could have access to get on the road and visit different parts of Asia and maybe the Middle East, and who knows where else.
Exactly. We've heard of people going to Morocco and also further east. The only thing we do need to think about is Kiba, because there's different vaccinations and blood tests that you need to show.
Yeah. Well, tell folks the address where they can connect, where they can find Kiba's beautiful pictures online. I know you mentioned Instagram. Tell us your Instagram handle and also your web address.
Our Instagram handle is at KibaTales with an underscore in between, and our website is KibaTales.com.
KibaTales.com. The book is called Kiba's Fun in the Sky. It is a great picture book by our guest, Laura Hockensmith. And check out the website and keep your eyes open for Kiba Saves Christmas coming in the not too distant future. Hey, Laura, I would love to have you come back on and let us know some more of your adventures.
Great. Thanks for having me, Jed, and letting me tell you the story about Kiba Tales.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Laura. Take care.
You too.
Hey, for all the authors that are listening out there, I wanted to share with you this great email that we received here at the Reading with Your Kids podcast from Dr. Linda Mubarak. She is a past guest and the author of Maxine's New Job. Here's the email. Dear Fatima and Jed, good news! Maxine's New Job has been nominated to receive the prestigious Henri Award at the 2018 Christian Literacy Awards for Outstanding Literacy Work in the Children's Book Division. I sincerely believe your certifying Maxine as a great read helped bring increased social media attention to the book. Thank you for the exposure and the great marketing. We are so happy for Dr. Linda Mubarak that her book, Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read, Maxine's New Job, received this prestigious recognition. We would love to help your book receive that same kind of recognition. If you are interested in having your book considered for our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program, please visit our website, readingwithyourkids.com. You can click on the contact button, send us a note, and we'll send all the information back to you, or you can go right to our Certified Great Read page on our website. It's fun, it's easy, and it is really an effective way to let the world know that your book stands out above all the rest. The Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. Joining us on the line right now from Cambridge in New Zealand. She is the author of a fantastic series of books for young kids, helping them learn their sounds and their alphabet. The latest book is called The Fair Factor. Please welcome to the show, Anita Kelly Gaunt. Anita, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It is fantastic here in Boston. Seems like it's a bright, sunny Wednesday in New Zealand right now.
Sorry, I'm just a little distracted with my 2-year-old here. He's trying to tell me what he'd like to do while Mummy's busy on the phone.
Well, that's fine. Yes, the handsome. You guys can't see, but Anita's son is a very handsome young man named Eston. And he'll probably chime in from time to time during the interview. And I think that is fine, because that's what we're all about, spending time with our kids.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just setting up a little piggy bank for him so he can post some coins.
Absolutely.
And it should keep him busy for about a minute.
Well, that is something that we all deal with. It's been many years since I've dealt with that. My kids are now 22 and 25. And we're looking forward to the moment that we'll be dealing with their kids and our grandkids.
Yeah. There we go, darling. You play with that one. Mummy's going to talk, okay? Good boy.
Okay.
Right.
So, Anita, tell us about the fear factor.
So the fear factor is the third book in my literacy tales series. I thought of the idea around the very popular saying with children, it's not fair. So with that in mind, I decided to write a story around two children who fight all the time, and it drives their parents completely up the wall. And one day a fairy appears out of the blue and decides to give the children a taste of their own medicine. So when they wake up in the morning, they've become fully grown adults and their parents have shrunk down into children. So they spend a day trying to look after their parents. And as you can imagine, it will not be easy for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is one of the biggest things in families, that sibling rivalry thing.
Definitely. I think it's quite relevant to, childhood today and those family dynamics, and one that children can relate to and parents as well, because parents read the books as well. So it should be entertaining for everyone.
Absolutely. Now you come to the world of writing with a lot of experience. Not only are you a mom, but you're also an early childhood educator, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. What kind of insight into that whole sibling rivalry, brothers and sisters, siblings fighting with each other, have you kind of gathered over the years of working with kids? Have you figured out any, since we actually can't, turn our kids into adults to, turn the tables on them, have you developed any great strategies and to help families deal with that?
Well, I think it's something that all families face, and all children are different, and you see varying degrees of it. There's probably no simple solution. These books that I write, I try and fill them with little life lessons, little values and virtues that I hope children will take away by reading my books, so that when they've read that story, hopefully there is a little bit of understanding that, okay, yeah, maybe my parents feel like that, or maybe I do that as well, and maybe my behavior might need a little bit of work. So I try and put it back on the children so that they can reflect on it themselves, and I think that in books that's a really safe way for children to explore those sorts of themes. So at the moment my books have been fairly not too serious, the concepts of confidence and perseverance and, considering others. Those are fairly common sorts of values. But obviously there are deeper things that I am looking to get into, things that cover situations that children find themselves in these days, split parents, children that have disabilities and being unique and all those sort of things that children face these days. So I do want to cover things that are a little bit more sensitive.
And I think you kind of started at a good place, because things like building confidence and grit and perseverance, these are all, character traits and skills that kids need as they deal with those more challenging subjects.
That's right. And they all impact on, the types of adults that we turn into in the end. Those values are very important to how we develop and grow, having that empathy for others and being confident within yourself, and with your learning. And, I think all those basics are really important to have from a young age.
Yeah. Now talk a little bit about the whole idea of confidence and perseverance. Which book is it that you address that topic?
So that's in my book for the letter C, The Cat Who Couldn't Cook, which is the very first book I wrote.
And that's such an important thing. We talk a lot here. I don't know what it's like in New Zealand, but here in the States, it seems, hopefully it's changing, but it seems like parents went through this long period of almost bubble wrapping their kids, so they didn't experience any bumps or bruises, and they didn't experience any kind of disappointment or loss. Sports teams where we don't keep score and everybody gets a trophy, and there are no winners and there are no losers, even though the kids understand there are winners and losers. What do you think about that, and is it the same in New Zealand?
It is definitely the same, and I guess that's something I do struggle with a little bit, because it is becoming so PC, and children do have this expectation that they get something, or that they're acknowledged, when really all of that needs to be earned, and it's a reward sort of system for their effort and their commitment to something.
And so we talk about that in The Cat Who Couldn't Cook. Now, one of the other things is interesting in books. You in addition to talking about these values, the books also help kids understand about their letters and the sounds.
That's right. So each book links to a letter, and that was purely based on the work I was doing in my teaching. I wanted to create a story that could also be used as a resource, and sort of wear two hats. It could first and foremostly be enjoyed as a story, but that there's additional learning opportunities within each book that can be done at home as a parent, or it can be used in the classroom. So each book focuses on the letter, but it's not done in such an obvious way. It's sort of linked into the story. I use a lot of alliteration and rhyme, so that repetition of that sound is relevant within the story. So even in the title, so The Cat Who Couldn't Cook, it's that emphasis on the sound k. So children will hear it a lot within the story. And then at the end of the story, there's a page of additional learning. So there's a quiz that you can go through, and children can revisit the story and answer questions, see what it is that they've understood, and you get them to do a little bit of thinking as well. And then there's also activity suggestions that are based on the book. So it's a little page of extras there for parents and teachers. The learning is really in the story, but it's used on that extra page at the back.
Great. Yeah. And the third book that you have available right now is Wolf's Wishing Well.
That's right. Take a guess which letter that is.
I'm trying to guess. No. What kind of, in addition to introducing kids to the W sound, is there a life lesson in Wolf's Wishing Well?
There is. So this story is about a wolf who's extremely impatient. He wants nothing more than for it to be winter. He loves winter and snow. And because he's impatient, he decides to go to a wishing well that's in his town. And he sees all his friends at the wishing well. They're all making wishes too for things. And throughout the story, he sees his friends' wishes coming true, and he doesn't understand why his wish isn't coming true. So he gets quite upset. But there are reasons why his friends' wishes come true. And it's a little bit of a lesson, first of all, in patience, but also in making your own dreams come true, being proactive. Because the things that his friends have wished for are things that they could do themselves and could fix themselves.
Cool. Now tell us where you have a great website. Tell everybody the address so folks can find you online.
Okay, so my website is www.anitakelligaunt.com. So it's just my full name.com.
Excellent. And Gaunt is spelled G-A-U-N-T. So Anita Kelly Gaunt. Excuse me. Anita Kelly Gaunt.
It's a tongue twister.
AnitaKellyGaunt.com. And you can go there to find out all about her, the Literacy Tales series. There's 3 books available right now. The Fair Factor, Wolf's Wishing Well, and The Cat Who Couldn't Cook. I can't wait to find out all about the new books that will be coming out in the future. Will you come back on and let us know?
Yeah, I've got one in the works at the moment. My illustrator's actually sending me some pictures at the moment for my latest book, which is Letter O, and it's about an octopus who is learning to be responsible and independent.
Excellent, excellent. So great books that teach kids not only about the letters and the sounds that letters make, but also gives them some great life lessons, some great character lessons. Anita Kelly Gaunt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And Eston, thanks so much for hanging out and being a great, great listener.
You're very welcome. I'll see if he wants to say bye-bye. You're busy singing at the moment.
Bye-bye, Eston. Take care, buddy. Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're really excited about this guest. Her name is Alexandria LaFay. She is the author of No Frogs in School. She's also a professor in children's literature. If you are an author, if you are a mom who loves kids' literature, if you are an aspiring author, you don't want to miss this episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Alexandria LaFay coming to us from Illinois. Hey, we want to thank Laura Hockensmith for being with us today. We also want to thank Anita Kelly Gaunt and her wonderful son, Eston. And, of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.